Well, we're back. We're back for another Pawncast here at the Trading Post, changing up the scenery a little bit.
Yep. Seems like it's been, what, a month, 2 months?
It's been a month.
Yep.
It's been 30 days.
It's hard to believe the year's half over, so.
Dude, you're right, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep, you missed my birthday again.
You don't look a year older, though.
Well, we had to move the camera back so I wouldn't look a year older. What the flip are we talking about today?
We got a whole bunch of topics today. We're going to do a couple little mini topics on the dockets. Price gouging.
And not here. Well, I
No,
have
it's
before,
not
but
here.
not here.
That's not here.
Okay, I just was curious where we was going with that.
So we are not price gouging. Talk about price gouging in certain markets.
Oh, okay. I know where you're going with that.
We're going to do a silver update, precious metals update.
Definitely need to do that. It'll be short, so don't zone out.
Yeah, don't zone out on us. And then we got the Doofus of the week, and we're also going to be highlighting our new merch.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
We're
sporting them.
We are sporting them today.
I think we got 2 candidates for Doofus of the week. I'm not sure which one I'll pick yet.
It's neither of us.
No, well, we didn't win. It's not in-house this time, so.
That's right. We might have to do 2 segments.
Our updated employee handbook might be working.
That's right.
Well, this week.
Who's counting, right? We're already halfway through.
So what do you want to get into first? We'll just do silver first, knock it out?
Sure, let's do silver first. Precious metals.
Oh.
It's a bloodbath out there.
It is. Yeah, I need more to start with that one.
Well, let's start with the facts. The facts are
silver's in the toilet.
Silver's in the toilet.
Gold's in the toilet. And we want to discuss why, and maybe, well, not what you'd want to do, but what I'm doing to kind of offset that. Because let me preface our precious metals comments by we do not give financial advice.
Oh, yeah.
And in fact, if you take advice from us on precious metals, you'll probably lose it all. So
yeah, let's just preface. We're not giving financial advice. We're just giving life experience of the pawn industry.
There you go. Well put. So where's silver sitting right now in gold? Have you looked lately?
So gold's floating just over 4,000.
And it was high at 54?
54 was the high.
Okay.
Silver's sitting at like 62 at the time of filming.
And I think it was high was in the 120 bracket.
120.
So I guess one thing I want to discuss, and we've discussed this ad nauseum, at least I got nauseated talking about it, or thinking about my portfolio. That's probably what nauseated me. What do you do if you're one of the people that bought silver at $100 an ounce or gold at $5,000 an ounce? I'm not sure there's a real good answer to that. Here's the 2 different categories I'd put people into, and we've talked about this. Like when the hype was going on, it's going to hit 150. You won't pay spot. You should speculate because it's going to go up. This right here is prime time why I do not speculate with my business. I have personal silver that I speculate with. I'll hold it. I've got some that I bought $70 and $80. So I'm in the rears too. I'm not quite as bad as some I know that got in at 100, 110. So what I'm doing, and I do the same thing. I learned this in the crypto market. I guarantee you.
Crypto's in the toilet too.
Yeah, it's really bad. My XRP's at $1.09 maybe. Got up to 320. And Brian wasn't smart enough to sell. So full disclosure, I'm in at about 70 cents, but that's not the point. The point is I didn't take any profit.
Right.
So at least when the silver got up, I did take some profit. I learned my lesson from, my crypto market, but I consider myself a hodler. I hold on for dear life. Not necessarily smart if you want to create wealth or make money. But I've been buying every week or two, not a huge amount, but I'll buy a few ounces every week. Same thing I've done with my XRP. I've got some XRP I bought at $2.80. I just keep buying as it drops. And now if I buy down around $1.10 with what I've got invested in my bulk of my basket, I'm not hurt a bit. And that's what I'm going to do with my gold and silver. It's a long-term play. Can I tell you where it's going? I have no freaking idea. It's one of the most corrupt systems that we have.
Yeah.
It's run off paper contracts, derivatives, and speculators.
Yep.
And leverage.
The people, the COMEX, those people that are running it, they're never laying their hands on the silver. They're not laying their hands on the gold. They're doing it on paper.
That's not totally. They do have gold and silver in stock, and they do deliveries every month. But what you're talking about is it's basically boils down to the leverage in the paper contract market, the derivatives. That's what controls the pricing mechanisms. Not that the COMEX doesn't have gold and silver in their vaults. Who knows what the truth is? One month they say they're about out, next month they say they got plenty. And they ship it back and forth.
Yes.
So they just keep changing the rules. They keep changing the rules on the percentage you have to have down for leverage. And they use all that together to control the price. I was watching one of the guys, financial guys online, talking about China's coming out with some new rules on leverage. I don't know if they're totally doing away with it or making you have, if you want to buy 1 million ounces and put leverage 1 million ounces, you should have to have 1 million ounces, because the paper always trumps physical, which is what the average person has. We have physical.
Right. And that's why we're always left holding the bag.
We're always taking it in the shorts.
Yeah.
The big boys always win. The people always lose. I wouldn't have thought it could have got below 60. We got down to 58, I think, 59. They could put it back down to 20 or 30 if they wanted to do it. Now, I think some of the world's pressures might keep from going too crazy, but I go back to a couple of years ago, they run oil to minus $40 a barrel. You couldn't buy it anywhere for that, but you could have bought some contracts, and those guys cleaned up. And they could do the same thing with anything that they control. I don't believe that it's the currencies. Oh, our dollar's stronger. You was talking about that.
Yeah. Like if you look and why is silver down? Why is precious metals down? All the answers they give you is bogus. Oh, it's the new Fed chair. It's the war in Iran's coming to a close, or oh, the U.S. dollar's stronger now. That does not justify silver going from 30 an ounce to 120 an ounce back down to 58 an ounce. That's not a good answer.
The dollar is not stronger compared to the rest of the world. We're the prettiest horse in the glue factory. That's what my dad always says.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I think
hold on. Long-term perspective on the precious metals is a hedge against inflation. Cost average. I wouldn't be a heavy buyer right now if this thing kind of lays out a little bit. I don't know. You don't know how to play the game because we're not, as George Carlin said, we're not in the club.
I think when you go to buy gold and silver, there needs to be a point in mind. Why am I doing this? If you're just jumping on a hype train, and this applies to anything, whether it's true. Silver or certain stock, Nvidia stock or Pokemon cards, when you just jump on the hype train, that's always a dangerous thing. I think if you're sitting there buying precious metals, it should be for one of two reasons. One, it's a hedge against inflation. And B, you could view it as some form of a retirement. You want, at the end of your life, you want something that's there. And I guess you could maybe lump that in as a hedge against inflation.
Yeah.
But, what is your goal in buying? If you're just buying in to flip, that's a dangerous game.
But think a year ago when it was I think I was selling it for 28, 30, 32 bucks. If you'd have told me right now $62, I would be pumped about it.
Yeah.
The problem is it went to 120 and drew back 50%.
Yeah.
But it's still a fantastic gain. So if you bought back in the day, just let her ride. But up is always going to be the trend. In theory, the worse things get, the better precious metals will do. But I don't think there's not any such thing as free enterprise. Not in this country. Not anywhere in the world at the moment. They call it free enterprise, but it's freely manipulated. That's what's free about it. And everybody's making bank off of it except for the people that are footing the bill. So I don't know what to tell you for sure. Just don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's enough on gold and silver. I'm tired of that topic.
Yeah.
But anyway, good luck to everybody on that. Who knows where it's going to end up. Long term, I think up's always the trend.
Yep.
Even if it crashes hard, it's going to go back up. All of a sudden, supposedly now there's not a shortage.
Yeah.
They lied to you every step of the way.
Well, this is a beautiful.
Let's transition to something else.
Yeah, this is a beautiful time to pivot. Let's talk about our nice shirts.
Yeah, we do have some new shirts. We sported our new hat last time, I think.
We did.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
We got these out here for $19.99.
And those are high quality. They're not your Walmart specials. Let's not do an infomercial. Hit it real quick and let's get on to something important.
But yeah, these are our new Trading Post shirts. On the front here, you can see our Trading Post Pawn logo. On the back side, you can see our custom decal featuring yours truly, Big Brian.
That'll make them sell.
and our Second Amendment specialist, Ethan Miller, back here.
Everybody wants his face on a shirt. But he's got the biggest head in there anyway, so.
Well, between the three of us.
That's why we had to put him in front of his back, because if he had a hat on in front of us.
It'd be like that hat you tried to get through the saloon doors with.
That's right.
So these are out on the floor. We got various colors, various sizes. They are $21.99.
Yeah, and they're nice quality. Let's move on.
Let's get into our main topic today,
which is
price gouging.
Yeah, we want to talk about lawnmowers, specifically push mowers and air conditioning.
Yep.
Being that it's 100+ degrees out,
Yes.
I'll let you address that one.
So, the last couple of years, it has been my job to do price research, find out what are other places selling their heaters for, what are they selling their air conditioners for. That way we can make sure and have ours priced. That's my job. And so I go to all these various places, big box stores, small places.
Small box stores.
Discount wholesale stores. Mm-hmm. And that's how we kind of come to our pricing. So I'll give you a good example. A plain Jane manual knobs 5,000 BTU window air conditioning unit,
which we would sell. Of course, ours are used. Full disclosure,
they are used.
What, 79 to 99, depending on age and condition, probably.
Exactly.
What'd you find them for?
So back in April and May, right when weather started to turn, you could find them in 2 different places for $97.99,
which made us look awful spendy.
Which made ours seem awful spendy for a
But that was
unit.
before summer too.
Right, that was right at the beginning of the season.
Okay.
Yep. Now that we've had a heat wave, mass humidity, the cheapest same unit was $179.99.
That was pre-heat wave, or right before the heat wave?
That was now during the heat wave. Pre-heat wave, it was $97.99.
Okay.
So they jumped that. What is that? That's $80, $90?
Something like that.
Yeah. There was another place that I went to at the beginning of the summer, April, May. They had their unit for $105, $104.99. Now selling it for $209.99.
I can tell you the ones that were, a customer was in last week because it made him mad. He didn't want to use one. He wanted to do one.
Yeah.
And I get that.
Yeah, I can understand that.
He was in a particular store the week earlier and it was like $149 maybe.
Yep, $149.99.
He went back to pick it up and it was $180.
Yep.
Because the heat hit.
Well,
that's Trump's tariffs again.
It's Trump's tariffs.
Dang that Trump.
Yep.
You know, it's kind of like the push mowers. And the push mowers could have something to do with the tariffs, but I doubt it. A couple years ago, the cheapest push mower you could buy was Little Murray, had the small wheels, about 4 inches and 3-horse motor, $125 maybe.
Yeah.
That same push mower now is $260 to $280.
Yep.
And they go way up from there.
Yeah.
They're now $300 to $600
for a push mower.
Yeah. And it makes it hard for us to keep up on.
Yeah.
So the heat wave hit, we just talked about because he checked prices and we talked about, man, we got to lower the prices of our ACs to be competitive, which means we paid too much, Yep. And now all of a sudden we're the cheapest game in town.
Yeah.
That's crazy how that changes.
Yes, it does.
So I don't know what that segment has to do anything other than where are we going with that?
Where we're going with that, there's several things. So first of all, I think especially young people today, there's this mentality that businesses just price gouge. And it's really fueled, I think you could say it's real, even the political climate features that.
Didn't that just prove they do though?
Exactly, it does. But it's not all establishments.
No, and it's not all items, but across the board.
Yes.
It's a vicious circle. Everything just keeps going up, making it tougher for everybody, which in all honesty helps our business. Whether it's buying something used or it's went up so much people can't put fuel in their car, which is a bad thing, but it's reality. Another prime example of what I call price gouging. I'm building an old car and I needed a piece of plastic trim. I think you've seen it, probably 2 inches wide. And the price was, I want to say it was like $340 some, which I about had a coronary on the spot. And if the people that sold this part to me are watching, those guys are awesome. It's the company.
That's where they get theirs from.
Yeah, they got nothing to do with the price. So they're awesome. They treat me great. But 3 weeks later, I get the car painted, and it's now $393. That includes tax, but
wow,
it's like
for a little rubber.
Holy smokes, for a little piece of plastic. That would be corporate greed. But what that does is, in turn, everybody says, "Well, I don't care. I don't have a new car." Or it does matter because now the cars cost more to insure because it costs so much more to repair them.
Yep.
So there again, people that are struggling.
There's a trickle down effect.
100% there is.
Yep.
If you got $100,000 truck and you get it totaled, the insurance companies, that's a chunk of change.
That's a huge chunk of change.
Yeah. So
and not to mention, it's just like the AC units. So now you go out and you buy an AC. and you're now having to pay more. Electric prices have not come down. So now
Yep.
you've spent more money just to get that air conditioning, and now that money that you could have saved to put towards that electric bill, knowing in the summer months it's a little bit more on electric usage, you just had to spend just to get the unit itself
That's true.
because the companies raised the prices.
You know, the other thing that we'll have to think about moving forward, coming into winter, we normally buy a lot of them.
Yep.
What do we pay for them? Because are the prices going to, what are the prices going to, if they step at $200 some, we got to step up what we're paying.
Yep.
Because let's just disclose it. If you come in here October, November, December, you want to sell me a 5,000 BTU air conditioner, I'm going to be 20 to 40 bucks, depending on if it's really nasty. I sold one this week for $59 that needed clean really bad. So that would be like a $20 one.
Right.
We had some new ones we sold for $89 and $99. That would be like a $30, $40, $50 one. Yeah. So we got to determine, what are we going to pay moving forward?
And
once this heat wave's over.
And somebody might say, well, if you paid, $20, $30, $40 for something you sold for 80 or 90, isn't that kind of greedy? You're doubling or tripling your money. But the key is, like you mentioned, you do that in September, October, November, December. We pay insurance and storage on that all through the winter months.
Yeah, it ties up a lot of cash because it isn't just those particular items we do that with. We do it with anything lawn and garden, anything off season.
Yep.
Right now we've taken heaters and not took. Well, we took them to the back building, but I've taken heaters in.
We have accepted heaters.
Yeah, there you go. That'd be an easier way to put it. And not only that, you buy a $30 air conditioner, you might spend, we'll store it for months. And then I have to pay my guy to buy it. And then we might spend 45 minutes or an hour cleaning it.
Yep.
So
it's not a true doubling or tripling your money.
No, it's not. And that's if you don't talk about everything I buy has to pay all the taxes that I have to pay. Now, I might have mentioned my property taxes went up. So, yeah, it's still a sore subject.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, and you're right. So it makes it tricky for us because I could pull out the flyers. We had flyers. That's how I kind of determined some of my pricing. I had some flyers back in April and May. And I said, look at this. Here's this AC 5,000.
We should have went down and bought a bunch of them.
Oh, should have.
Who knew?
But for $97.99, so it does make it tough. The other thing is how clean they are. You mentioned how dirty they are, but sometimes someone will bring it brand new in the box. How do you value that? We sold one out here that still had the crate bandages on it.
Yeah, for $100.
For $100.
We didn't jack the price because it was new in the box. New. Yeah.
So it does make it tricky, and that's one thing. It's our job to always be monitoring the prices.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see come September, the end of the year, what they sell 5,000 BTU ACs for.
Yeah, and who knows moving forward. Our models worked for the last 15 years. I don't know that I've seen them jump the price since we've been here like they done this year.
Yeah, I've never seen them double the price or something like that. While we're on the topic of price gouging, I do want to bring up Pokemon cards real fast.
Yeah, you've been gouging people on them, all right. You know what? That's a good segue for me to get a Slurpee because I don't know anything about Pokemon.
So I utilize last sold eBay. I utilize Collector. I utilize TCG. I'm a secondhand store. I do not get these at wholesale allocation pricing. So people come in and they might see an Ascended Hero Elite Trainer box on the shelf for $180 or $185. They say, well, I can buy that at Meijer for $85.
Can you get one?
If you stand in line when you know that they're dropping them, but this is no joke. My brother was down there. He called me and said, dude, they just brought in a pallet. By the time I could drive from here down to Meijer, 15 minutes, there was a line of 20 people, and I was able to buy one. And by the end, they were completely gone. So people know it's hot. There's entire Reddit forums that they know when these drivers are being dropped off, and it makes it hard to get. And so people come in and say, well, man, you guys are the gougers. You guys are the scalpers. You're selling them at the $185.
I thought $80 would be scalping.
Well, the cost, the wholesale cost of an ETB is about $45. My point in bringing that up is I'm a secondhand store. I don't have time to sit there in line at these big box stores. When people bring me in a box, I have to pull it up on eBay. I go what they're going for on the secondhand market.
Mm-hmm.
So, a couple of these Ascended Heroes ETBs, I paid $140. So it's not like my margin is humongous. And every person that comes in here and says, "Hey, will you cut me a deal?" I negotiate on mine. Very seldomly do I actually sell it for $185 and make $45. So I did want to bring that up about the Pokemon because some people say, well, we're the gougers or we're the scalpers, but I pay secondhand pricing. The secondary market determines the value. I wish I could get a wholesale pricing, maybe one day, but today is not that day. So I didn't want to mention that. I wanted to throw that in on price gouging.
You was talking about you went to the Pokemon show. Pokemon. Poke brother knows, I don't know. But you was saying there was a box that come out for 80 or 90, yep. And they were double. Just people were trying to buy them for double, right?
Right then.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I went to the big Shipshewana, Michigan card show, and that was the same weekend that Chaos Rising dropped. Same thing. You can buy Chaos Rising off the shelves for anywhere from $65 to $85, depending on the retailers. I went in Friday night and I bought 2 boxes at $70 a piece. By mid-afternoon on Saturday, because it's a 2-day show, by mid-afternoon on Saturday, the cheapest one in there was $150.
And people were buying them.
And by the end of the show, you could only find them maybe about $200, which makes 0 sense. You can jump on eBay. You could buy them at $90, $100. It's crazy how some of that stuff goes, and people jack the price, and it's like, dude, I know a lot of you guys stood in line and paid $65 for these boxes.
Some of it's supply and demand.
So it is supply and demand.
And if they keep pumping them out, I think that was part of, for years, Harley Davidson kept a tighter supply. Now, I'm not a big Harley guy, so I'm speaking out of school a little bit. I could be off, but their bikes always brought more of a premium because there's a little tighter supply. Plus, as many years later and everybody's had one, there's used Harleys everywhere. They're stacking them deep. They're not selling them cheap.
We stack them deep and sell them cheap.
Yeah.
It's kind of affected their market, and they're struggling. So, and I could see Pokemon doing the same thing at some point.
Yeah, I mean, you keep printing it, what you think is valuable is also not. But when there used to be only 10 of these and a PSA 10, now all of a sudden you got 10,000. It's not rare.
Yeah.
Well, Pikachu's not going to tear his ACL and miss the whole season.
So, and that's in the internet. That's what happened to antiques. Antiques, something you thought was rare, you can get on eBay, Amazon, anywhere on the internet and find pages of them. They'll ship it to your house, and you realize, man, there's 10 pages of them.
Yeah.
It has killed the antique market. It's the same thing.
Yep. So price gouging, we try to be fair with everybody. Mm-hmm. We really do. We monitor our prices. This is what he pays me to do. He pays me to check into stuff.
Well, if we're not competitive, we can't sell.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We have to be competitive.
And I have to be able to sell a lot of stuff to pay this property taxes.
Yes, we do.
Did I bring that up again?
But we still have, we still got about six ACs over there on the wall. So
we won't have time this comes out. So
probably
don't rush down.
But that's why if we made a video back, was it April or May? We made a video of our ACs.
Yeah.
Should have watched.
So if you didn't get one, it's not our fault. We tried.
That's right. I tried to tell you about it.
And we did not raise our prices.
We did not.
That's not true. I added $10 to one Friday because it was the last one we had. And I knew they were 200 some. So I raised mine $10. So I apologize to whoever bought that. They got cheated out of $10.
Well, but there's still a big difference from going from 80 to 90 versus going
That's what I thought.
to 210.
Yep.
So I think before we close out, we need to do our doofus.
Well, we was kind of going to segue that into some social media stuff, but we can save that for next time.
Okay.
And I still haven't decided. I do want to talk about social media. It's kind of the new thing. We're trying it out. And some guy suggested that we're terrible actors. It's painfully not funny. And I probably would have to agree with you on that. So we never claim to be funny or actors.
We're genuine. We claim to be genuine.
So, but I thought I got a kick out of that. I thought that's kind of funny. But where was I going with that?
Doofus of the week.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna
I got to decide who's going to win because
it was tough. It was tough.
Well, we could split it up into two, but I do want to addressing a bad review would go good with our social media stuff. I'll give you the short version. We have a certain department that's heavily federally regulated.
Mm-hmm. Very.
Okay. I don't make the rules. In fact, I don't agree. I think a lot of the rules are just stupid. They tell me to use my common sense and tell me I can't make any decisions.
Mm-hmm.
We had a situation this week where a couple young people come in a couple of different times, and for various reasons, the transaction didn't go through. The next day, the mom comes in with one of the two, and she's going to do it, which is a no-go because they'd already been here looking at it. They were 18, they were adults. Makes that a straw purchase, which is a felony.
Yep.
And she got irate and immediately become a keyboard warrior and left us. I haven't even read it because it just makes me irritable. So jump on, what would that be, Google?
Yeah, it was a one-star
Google. Jump on Google. You can read it, and you can read our response. But in her particular case, I would boil it down to ignorance of the law, and a lot of people have it. I had an old gentleman come in with his grandson. Grandson was 18, so he's an adult. Kid picks it out. Grandpa says, "I'll buy it." And I said, "No, you won't." I explained how that works to him. He cusses me out, tells me he don't give a F about the rules, and out the door he goes. I doubt that's the case here. I think she probably just didn't understand all that had transpired and what we have to deal with. So if she sees this, here is my offer to you. Come see me. I will walk you through all the rules. Okay? We can get on the phone. I will call the ATF Fort Wayne field office. We'll get one of the guys on there that enforce the rules. Tell them the situation. If they say, "No, sir," or "No, ma'am, the trading post is wrong," he can sell you that. I will give you that and some free ammo to go with it. If I'm right, then you take your post down. But the thing about social media, there's two sides to everything, and there's nothing you. It's there forever. So
it's.
I would almost put that one in as the doofus of the week for, without getting too crazy. But
and this just clarified to you, the ATF puts rules into place that they think is going to keep people safe, whether we agree with it or not.
I have to follow them. I can't lose my business to make $50.
We have to follow it.
So, and here's the thing about some of the rules too that you really don't think about. There's a million different scenarios. Mm-hmm. They have to make a rule that covers everything. Mm-hmm. I can't let a husband and wife put their cash together back there. It's considered a straw sale. Even if they're married, it doesn't matter. If your child, I guess here's the bottom line, educational time. If your child is 17 or younger, he's a juvenile or she's a juvenile. You want to bring them in? Say, "I want to buy them a hand." You're the parent. You can buy and gift to anybody you want. Where that changes if your child's 18. They're now a legal adult. You cannot come in here and allow him to pick a out. If you want to come in and say, "My son's turning 18, I want to buy him something for his birthday," that's fine. If you pick it out, you pay for it with no expectations of repayment. Otherwise, it's not legal. Part of it, I know in Indiana you can carry a handgun at 18, but that's a state law. Federal law says under 21 cannot buy a handgun. So you got to remember, there's two different sets of laws. There's multiple reasons for how they look at that. I think it's kind of crazy. You can go in the military at 18, they'll put a rifle in your hand and tell you to go get shot, but you can't buy a handgun. But that's not my decision to make. Mm-hmm. So the people, instead of listening to what we're telling them on how to properly do it, we're not the only place you can buy a gun. Don't continually beat on us trying to get past us, because my guy's pretty good at remembering people. And at some point, he's just going to say no, and then here we are. Yeah. So that's kind of a learning curve, not really a doofus of the week, but it's...
The other thing that people need to realize, it is nothing personal.
No.
It is all about following the rules.
I don't make them.
Staying out of trouble. And when I say staying out of trouble with ATF.
Yeah.
The last thing we want is to have license pulled and all of a sudden 4 or 5 employees are out on the street.
Yeah, those guys are no fun when they come in.
No.
So if you smell like your ID's expired, you smell like don't even go to my apartment. You're welcome to look, but we won't pull anything out. We use our little sign all the time. We got a little sign that's got a nose with an X through it. Yeah. It means if I can smell it, don't ask to see anything.
Yeah.
You know, and I've had people that were really cool about it, you know. And then other people, like smokers, don't know they smell like smoke. But if you don't smoke, you pick it up right now.
Right.
You know, we had a deal where this would be a good doofus of the week. Same department, same week. Young man comes in, always smelled like with a crew that always smelled like. We'd run them out 3-4 times.
And when we say run them out, we're saying, hey,
out of the department.
We cannot sell you.
That's what we mean.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or
I don't like banning from the store and all that. That's not, and I don't care if you smoke. That's your business. It doesn't make no difference to me. But that young man, did you hear this story? Sent his mom in the next day. Want to know why I wouldn't sell her son a good? He said, well, ma'am, I've run him out 2 or 3 times when I smell like, because that is one of the questions on the form. And he said, you know, the bad thing is she smelled more like than he did. She was then asking why wouldn't Simon? So, you know, there you have it. I guess the point is, please, if there's any situation, not just back there, but anywhere, give us the opportunity. If my management staff will not, if it's not acceptable answer, they will get me involved. There's only been a handful of times in 15 years I dug in and said, I don't care. I try to take care of it. Prime example, Friday, nice man was in. I was trying to put a little humor in a trade situation. Didn't come out right. Not at all, which is something I should have learned after all these years. Really, really insulted him. And it wasn't nothing terrible. He just took it way different than I was thinking in my head. I basically chased him out the door and said, hey, dude, let's talk, you know. So it happens. I got to learn, you know, we try not to talk politics, and I got to learn not to joke around a lot because it did not come out right. It wasn't nothing bad. He just took it as an insult, and I won't get into it. But we got it straightened out. I gave him a deal on what he was looking at. And I think we're all cool, and that was my fault.
Sometimes it's just our terminology.
I guess my point is, I don't know if that young man would have. Obviously, I could tell right away that didn't come across the way I was intending it.
Right.
So he didn't have to tell me that. But I guess my point is, if something's done or said in here that doesn't come across right or you don't think's right, man, take it to my people.
Mm-hmm.
Give us the opportunity to straighten it out.
Yeah.
Because 9 times out of 10, you know, it's something we definitely can work out, and it becomes a non-issue. But
yeah, a lot of times it's not even anything personal. It's just terminology we use. I mortally offended one person one day when
mortally.
I mean, they took.
Did you use your graded comic book to cut them?
No, but that would have been hilarious. But I said, hey, stop distracting the help. What I was getting at, they'd been sitting there talking for like 20 minutes. I was like, hey, stop, you know, jokingly. I mortally offended them. Not that I told them that, hey, don't distract my worker, but I referred to them as the help. And it was like, you just degraded that person. How dare you?
They got mad
at me.
They are helping them. They are the help. They're stepkids,
but I guess I've never thought the term help would be a degrading name to call somebody.
Well, you never know. But all that.
But that goes into what you're saying about sometimes people just take it wrong, and it's truly nothing personal.
But we'll pick this topic up maybe the next one and go into depth on how it really affects small business. Because nobody cares if Walmart gets a bad review.
Yeah.
I had another one we dealt with. It's like good people, and they've been with us a long time. It's like, what am I missing? Well, he was drunk, and I told him he shouldn't be doing that. You know, how do you combat that online? Because it's like on eBay if you get a negative. You know, we sold a $4 game. Guy said it wasn't what he wanted. We just give it to him.
And still got a negative review.
Yeah, because the picture wasn't the actual picture or something. I don't know, something stupid. So I not only give it to him, but I paid to ship it to him and got a negative review out of it. So
yeah,
that's all topics we can work on.
And weed is legal. Are they allowed to sell it to them?
No.
Okay, so what our producer was asking us was, what about in states that have legalized? How does that affect self-defense purchases? So this is what Brian brought up. This is a very good point. There are 2 sets of laws. There are state laws that we have to follow, and there are federal laws we have to follow. It does not matter that Colorado or Michigan has legalized, that question will be on the federal form.
100%.
If they check yes to that question, automatically that dealer should not sell them. That is the law.
Well, first place, they won't check yes, they'll lie about it. But
well,
the facts are, you're 100% correct.
Yeah.
Federal law trumps state law most of the time. And the ATF has the badges. And we had a situation we first opened. State law says if they have the pawn ticket, they have ownership. So I won't get into all the ins and outs, but gal come in and pick up with the pawn ticket. Wasn't her. And apparently the guy that put the pawn wasn't allowed to have one. You know who got in trouble? I figured it out, and I called him and said, hey, you guys need to look at this one. I figured out real quick. I was the one that got in trouble. I had to go to the principal's office and got my butt chewed for about an hour. It's like, I did figure it out. That's why I called you. Well, you should figure that out before, So, yeah, there's a lot to that.
I think you could say the ATF expects perfection, almost.
Well, I wish the government run like they expect us to operate.
Well,
but that is never going to happen.
Nope. But what could happen is you could have your question featured on this podcast.
And if you do, you'll get what? Give one of our new shirts?
Oh, yeah. Put comment down below, whatever platform. Ask a really good, intuitive question. Make the boss think deep. And we'll select the best comment, best question. Send you a free t-shirt supporting yours truly. And
now, is the hat on so you can't tell if you got the sporting the $10 haircut or?
Hey, there's a reason why he put me with the hat on.
That's a fact.
So, but it is what it is.
There you have it. Another nonsensical episode of Trading Post Pawncast. So appreciate everybody watching. Thanks for your time. We'll see you on the next one.
Absolutely.